Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to another one of my videos where I take a look at all the new comic books coming out on either February 14th or 15th, 2023. And I ask myself the question, what one new comic book would I buy this week if I could buy just one book? Happy Valentine's Day to all of you out there. My loyal watchers and subscribers, my heart goes out to you this Valentine's Day. Thank you so much for your regular support. It means a lot to me. Let's go ahead and start off this video first by taking a look back at my pick from 2 weeks ago, which was, I didn't have a pick 2 weeks ago. Remember, it was that weird formatted video that I made, but I kind of had somewhat of a default pick for the week, and that default pick, meaning kind of like a fallback, like if I had a gun to my head, I'd have to choose this one, was Silver Surfer Ghostlight issue number 1. And the question remains, was it a worthy and worthwhile pick to be my just one book pick of the week? And the answer is, sure. It was a pretty light week. Didn't really have much going for it. And so I would say that this was probably a good just one book pick. It was an entertaining read. It was interesting. And it absolutely was the beginning of something more. This was the first full appearance of this Ghostlight character, and this character we will be seeing more of. I do not believe that this is going to be a few issues and then we're going to forget all about him. I believe that we're teeing up a new hero in the Marvel Universe. So there hasn't been much movement on the secondary market on this book, and that surprises me a little bit, maybe because nobody's surprised by the fact that it's the first appearance of a new character in the Marvel Universe. But I think it's a good one to have in the collection. I do think there's a future with this character, and I do think that this book, if you can still get it for cover price, which you should be able to do, has a lot of potential. In fact, I didn't have it pulled at my LCS, and they sold out of it. And I had to go to multiple LCSs where I found it sold out over and over and over again until I finally went to one place that had one copy left. And fortunately, it met my minimum condition requirements. So I went ahead and bought it. So people are paying attention. I might suggest you consider paying attention as well. All right, let's go ahead and move forward now. Taking a look at the books that are coming out this upcoming week. Now, I'm going to talk about 6 books this week, 5 honorable mentions, and then my just one book pick of the week. 4 of these books I'm going to be buying. 2 of them I am not. I will let you know which 2 I'm not buying and which 4 I am buying. The first book I want to mention to you this week is a book that I will be buying. It is 8 Billion Genies, issue number 7 of an 8-issue series from Image Comics. Here's the description. We've seen the first 8 years after G-Day. Now we'll visit the first 8 decades as our characters live, love, grow, change, and die in a world transformed forever by the appearance of 8 billion genies 80 years before. Brace yourself. This one's a heartbreaker. Well, I imagine somebody's going to die of old age after 8 decades. I mentioned this. None of you are like, oh, what's 8 billion genies? I haven't heard of that. I've mentioned it many, many times in these videos. It was, I think, the hottest, many would say, the hottest indie book of 2022. But that's not why I mention it today. I mention it because I am going to be buying it, but I also mention it because it's good. It's really, really good. I'm really enjoying it. It's not just hype. It's not just spec hype. It's a really good read. I hope you've been checking it out because it's a lot of fun and I like fun. So it's absolutely a book that I'm going to be picking up this week. It's the penultimate issue, only one more issue after this. So maybe some of you are waiting to read it in trade, which is absolutely fine. But I think it's a fun, enjoyable, worthwhile read. And if you're able to get, that first issue for super, super cheap, those days have probably gone away. But if you can, I recommend picking it up. Okay, let's go to my next honorable mention, which is a new book. It is called The Last Barbarians, issue number 1 from Image Comics. Here is the description. Series premiere. To be a classless is a whole new low. You'd think in a fantastic world full of giants, magic, and flying fish, it would be a world of possibility. But you'd be dead wrong here. Sylve is a jack of all trades. She can fight with the best of them, pick most pockets, and even cast a 3rd level spell or 2. It's too bad that for her, that if you aren't a member of a guild, you are persona non grata, completely outcast from adventuring. That might be fine, except she has her disabled 7-foot tall brother to take care of. If she can't find a job to support them both, they'll be dead in a ditch in a matter of weeks. So now, her only hope is a quest from a sketchy cleric who promises only a true hero can save the day. Sylve has a lot of skills, and she'll need them all to survive this hero's journey. This is an unusual pick for me this week because this is usually not the kind of comic book that I gravitate towards. However, when I was a kid, I was a big fan of Dungeons and Dragons, and I never played as much as I wanted to because it was always difficult for me to find the time and the group to do it. The only time I ever did with any regularity was in college, and I had a blast. I love it. So this description was firing on all my nostalgia cylinders, so to speak, when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons. It also sounds very like a very human story, that it's not just completely fantasy and adventure. It's grounded in the fact that this character has their own personal conflicts in that they want to be an adventurer, but they don't really get the opportunities. And then in addition, they have a brother. So there's an external conflict of sorts. They have a brother that they're taking care of. So it's not just a character goes on an adventure, fights something, gets treasure, blah, 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 blah. There's actually some personal human conflict and points of interest in this story. So if you're into fantasy at all, you might consider picking up this book this week. The next book I want to mention to you is House of Slaughter, issue number 12 from Boom Studios. Here's the description. Alone after barely surviving a monster's massacre, Sunny is elusive to Jace, but not the White Masks. Caught up in the business of the White and Black Masks, will Sunny join Jace's former house, or be left in the woods to face the same horrors again? Okay, so I'm mentioning this book this week because it is a book that I am buying. It is a book that I'm buying because I'm a big fan of Something is Killing the Children. This is in the world of Something is Killing the Children, and therefore I am buying it. Issue number 11 did not blow me away, but it did tee up some potential for some awesomeness, although it's seeming a lot like Something is Killing the Children right now, in that there seems to be, we are focusing on a main character that is protecting some people. There's an external member of their order that's coming after them, and it appears they have red hair and are menacing. Which is a lot of what's going on in Something is Killing the Children right now. And I am enjoying it in Something is Killing the Children, and I'm engaged in Something is Killing the Children, but there's too many things that are like reminiscent. I'm going to read it, I'm going to enjoy it on its own merit, but if it really starts to feel like I'm reading the same story twice, that will definitely get me out of House of Slaughter. So we'll see what happens there. The next book I want to mention to you is a new book. It is called NIGHTCRAWLERS, issue number 1 of a 3-part limited series from Marvel Comics. Here's the description. 10 years into a twisted future, Mr. Sinister unleashes his private army of assassins, the Legion of the Night. Meet Wagnerine, commanding this killer crew of brainwashed hybrids, each one a genetic mix of Nightcrawler and another one of Marvel's most murderous mutants. Mysterious forces seek to break Sinister's control over these fatal fanatics, to turn them against him. But who are they? And what are their true motives? Enter Mother Righteous and a meeting of the most powerful players in the universe. Okay. I wasn't going to mention this book at first glance. I was like, the Sinister stuff seems interesting. I read the Sins of Sinister one-shots that set everything up. I wasn't very impressed, so I wasn't going to mention this. But then I started thinking about this, and I was like, What was good about Sins of Sinister issue number 1 was that I could see where the fun was coming from. I could see what was going to be fun about it. And then when I saw this Nightcrawlers book, I was like, okay, there it is. That is what's fun about it. Here is a group of mutants that are hybrids of Nightcrawler and blank. Most notably, Nightcrawler and Wolverine. That is awesome. That is going to be a lot of fun. And because I am such a big fan of fun, I decided that I had to go ahead and mention this book this week. What are the other hybrids with Nightcrawler? I don't know. How awesome are they going to be? I don't know. But if you're into mutants, this might be a very fun one to pick up. And I also have to say that I think it came out last week. I didn't mention Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants, which is another Sins of Sinister tie-in happening in this timeline 10 years in the future. I didn't mention that because of the same reasons I wasn't going to mention Nightcrawlers, but I'm mentioning it now for the same reason that I'm mentioning Nightcrawlers now. It sounded like it could be fun. So if you're into fun and you're into mutants, you might want to check those 2 books out. The next book I want to mention to you is Star Wars issue number 31 from Marvel Comics. Here's the description. Luke Skywalker, Leia Organa, and an elite crew of rebel heroes are lost in the farthest reaches of no space after a mission gone wrong. A desperate maneuver is their only chance to find a way home. But what will it cost them? All right, I mentioned this week because I am buying it. I've been enjoying the Star Wars series a lot. Charles Soule, who also writes 8 Billion Genies, which I mentioned at the top of this section. I'm buying both of his books this week because he's very good. I like him a lot. And this Star Wars, when I first started picking up this Star Wars series, I thought this is going to be 3 or 4 and done. But I am now up to issue number, what did I just say, 31, and I've been collecting this book for years. So that to me speaks a lot to it, and I'm enjoying it every week. Is it my favorite book? No. Could I drop it if I was forced to drop books? Sure. But am I going to drop it? No. No, I'm going to see this series through to the end because it's been a lot of fun. It's been really entertaining. Charles Soule is great. The story is great. And I'm enjoying it a lot. So it is on my honorable mention list this week. And that brings us to the last book that I'm going to talk about today in this video. And it is my just one book pick for the week. The book is Torrent, issue number 1 from Image Comics. Here's the description. Series premiere. From Mark Guggenheim and Justin Greenwood, the team who brought you the critically acclaimed series Resurrection, comes a brand new superhero universe. Michelle Metcalf is the world's most happy-go-lucky hero, Crackerjack, until tragedy forces her to cross the line from hero to vigilante. That's it. That's all they tell me. And let me tell you something. When I started research on this video, I had my 3 books that I was going to buy this week. Star Wars, 8 Billion Genies, and House of Slaughter. And that's it. And then I did some research and I had the 3 more that I mentioned to you so far. And when I was like, what's going to be my pick? Is it going to be House of Slaughter? No. 8 Billion Genies, that's been already more than once. I don't know why issue number 7 should be. Should it be Star Wars? I know. But this one kept rattling around in my brain. This one kept coming back to me and being like, well, hold on a second. I don't know much about this book, but something in my gut is telling me, do not ignore this book. And the description for it is pretty short, but they give you a lot of tasty nuggets here. First, from a story perspective, it says the world's most happy-go-lucky hero, Crackerjack, she's happy-go-lucky until tragedy forces her to cross the line from hero to vigilante. So how I interpret that is I see a vigilante as a hero who is willing to kill. And it is actually, I really like this a lot. I hadn't really thought about this, but the fact is, for heroes with these superpowers to not kill does take a lot of control and discipline. And it is a conflict that I wish superheroes had to address more often. People like Batman, and every so often it does come up, every so often writers do kind of broach the subject of, hey, like Batman, if you just killed the Joker, one person, think about how many lives you would save. The Joker gets caught, goes to jail, gets out, kills people, gets caught, goes to jail, gets out, kills people over and over and over and over and over again. And if Batman just killed him, that would be it. So it's an interesting topic for me to see a superhero who has basically taken a code to be a hero and to not kill, who gets pushed over the edge and says, I can't do this anymore. I am now going to kill people because this is the only way to stop their criminal behavior. I don't agree with it and I don't endorse it, but I think it makes a very, very compelling story, a very compelling character, and I'm really, really interested in reading the story of this kind of like downward descent of this character. In addition, all I've seen, art-wise, are the two covers that I'm showing here, and they're putting off a very Invincible type vibe with the blood that we see. And to me, that's a good thing. I think Invincible is really, really good, and I'm surprised that more people haven't tried to do what Invincible is doing already, but it looks like this book is trying to do that, and I am okay with that, as long as it seems to be original enough, and I don't know, hopefully it will be. The last thing I want to mention about this book is that the description states that this is the beginning of a brand new superhero universe. Not just the beginning of a new superhero story and a new superhero character, but a superhero universe. So we're going to get multiple first appearances in this book. When I hear the words of the beginning of a new superhero universe, a lot of times these creators go to these indie places, like I'm thinking like Radiant Black, theirs was a whole universe of characters built around that title. Multiple different characters with multiple different titles. And I think that this could be the beginning of something like that. That Mark Guggenheim, the writer of this, has possibly made a deal with Image for multiple characters and multiple books. And we'll all start here. Regardless, there's a lot of reasons to pick up this book. It's one of those, as I say many times in these videos, pick it up, read it. If you like it, keep buying it. If you don't like it, file it away and see if something ever happens with it someday. But it's not a super exciting week. There isn't a lot of like fantastic stuff out there for me. I highly recommend that if you have the extra $3.99 to spend this week, you pick up Torrent issue number 1. And that's why it is my just one book pick for this week. All right, that's it. This video is long enough. Likes are really appreciated by me. The algorithm also appreciates it as well. So hit the like button if you like this. And if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe. I am posting Test Your Comic Book Grading Skills videos. I have a 5-part series that just started this past week. They'll be coming out on Thursdays. So make sure you're subscribed so that you check those out. It's kind of a fun series, this one. All right, thank you so much for checking out this video. I'll see you in the next one.